Welcome to Peas in a Pod.
Serving you Echo Piece one podcast at a time.
Hi, Chem.
Hi Alex and hello to all our listeners dyan. Marami tayong pag-usapan sa episode na to, kaya wag na natin patagalin pa at pag-usapan na natin ang topic for this episode, which is plastic.
Plastic. That is something that is everywhere. Paglabas mo pa lang may makikita ka ng rumorol yung plastic. Pero in this particular episode, we're going to talk about single-use plastics. Kumbaga yung plastic na ginamit mo ngayon, itatapon mo na agad. So, I guess a very faint memory na naaalala ko from my childhood with single-use plastic is pupunta ako sa labas namin para bumili sa tindahan. Siguro I was about 4 years old nung mga time na yun. Tapos, bibili ako nung mga dragon seeds, mikmik, ganyan. Tapos, enjoy na enjoy pa ako kasi masarap di ba? Pati yung mga mani, ganyan. Tapos, hindi ko alam na that contributes so much to our plastic problem pala dito sa Pilipinas. So, hindi pala dapat nag-e-enjoy lang tayo in the moment. Dapat iniisip din natin yung growing impacts nito dun sa ating kapaligiran.
Oo nga ay Alex. Kasi ako, kung sa'yo dragon seeds at mani, sa akin kasi juice and soft drinks, ganon. Kaya siguro yung growing plastic problem, no, yun din yung main reason kung bakit ang Pilipinas ang top contributor ng plastic waste in our world's oceans. Isipin mo isipin mo na for a little country like ours compared to China, US, and yung mas malaki pang bansa, we alone contributed 36% of the total plastic waste na kumakalat sa oceans natin worldwide. That's one-third of the total plastic waste.
Ang dami pala, no? Grabe! And alam mo ba, Chem, nabasa ko rin sa isang study na ang Pasig River ang top polluting river sa buong mundo.
Totoo. Grabe. Of all the things we could be first in the world, dito pa talaga, ay nako. Alam mo, these numbers or data is, yes, saddening to think about. But, syempre, it's also alarming given the fact na since around 2001, we have the RA 9003 or the Ecological Solid Waste Management Act that should have helped us to manage our eco-waste better.
Ooh, interesting. And to add, guys, if you live in Metro Manila or if you're visiting there, kahit wala na masyadong threat ang COVID-19 sa atin, it's still better to wear masks outside. Lalo na, there are articles saying that there are already microplastics in the air sa Metro Manila. So, diba, better be safe than sorry.
Totoo, Alex. Grabe. And alam ko kasi kapag na-inhale mo yung microplastics na yan, may negative effect yan sa bodies natin eh. So, grabe, parang na-combo naman tayo na parang na-pollute na nga natin yung environment, napahamak pa health natin.
Mahirap na, di ba?
Totoo. And I guess, seeing the effects of plastic pollution in our country and how it contributes to the world, I think this is the perfect time to mention that aside from RA 9003, a new law was passed just last year in July. Ang tawag dito ay ang Extended Producer Responsibility Law or EPR law, and we'll be talking about this for a little while later. And I know siguro iniisip nyo na, batas yung pag-uusapan natin, baka dumugo naman mga ilong namin. Well, kaya nga natin siya pag-uusapan sa episode na to, so that we'll be able to understand it better and to know what that law should accomplish towards maintaining a greener environment for all of us. Diba, Alex?
Tama, wala tayong dapat ikatakot. At itong EPR law, no, kagaya ng sabi mo, bagong-bago pa siya. Kumbaga sa tinapay, mainit-init pa. And I know that we said na we'll talk about the EPR law later. Pero let me just say na this law is directed to companies and corporations, which leads us to the premise, are plastic producing companies making a dent in plastic production?
Magandang tanong yan, Alex. And we'll try to answer that later. But for now, we'll focus first on the government since sila ang institution that have always been the one to take care of lessening environmental pollution sa atin. Ever since din naman talaga, di ba?
Oo, ang dami talagang nangyayari sa paligid natin. And that's just one of the things that we can't ignore anymore. Kasi kagaya nga ng nasabi ko kanina, no? Paglabas mo pa lang, magugulat ka na kasi merong ang dami-daming basura dyan. Or minsan pagising mo pa lang, maaamoy mo na sa kapitbahay nyo na, ano ba to? Bakit ganon? Ang baho, 'di ba? Kasi you smell the garbage. So,
Hmm.
meron tayong mga batas for switching to solving marine litter, information campaigns, at marami pang iba.
Ayan, tama. Kaya medyo mabibigat yung mga sinabi mo, no? Kaya na-interview din natin si Miss Leza Cuevas from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources or yung DENR. Kasi alam mo, Alex, si Miss Leza Cuevas, siya yung chief ng Environmental Education Section ng Environmental Management Bureau. So, yung job niya talaga and yung section niya is to inform the public on what they can do to help with the environmental problem talaga.
Oo, and ayun, siguro himay-himayin natin isa-isa, no? And simulan natin sa marine litter. So, ang DENR, nagtatag sila ng National Plan of Action for the Prevention, Reduction, and Management of Marine Litter. Mas kilala to sa tawag na NPOA-ML. And through the NPOA-ML, ang goal nito is masaayos ang waste management through focusing on marine waste. Kagaya na lang ng pag-iwas ng oil and chemical spillage sa katabigan natin gaya na lamang ng mga ilog at dagat.
Oh, yun pala yun. Sige, pakinggan natin kung ano bang masasabi ni Ma'am Cuevas. Kung ano bang gustong marating ng NPOA ML.
The overarching goal of zero waste to Philippine waters by 2040 to support the vision of a Philippines free of marine litter through shared responsibility, accountability, and participatory governance.
Mahaba-haba pang panahon ang meron tayo to participate in solving marine litter. At alam mo, Chem, maraming nakahain na programa ang DENR for us para makijoin tayo sa pag-aayos ng environment.
Oo nga, maraming ang programs ang DNR. So, yung mga interested dyan, our listeners, if you want to join environmental programs, merong mga seminars, summits, at exhibits na isnasagawa ang DNR together with the Environmental Management Bureau and the National Ecology Center. Ayan, para makasali kayo.
Interesting. Saan naman nating makikita itong mga nabanggit mong mga seminars, mga exhibits, Chem?
Ayan. Siguro, yung pinaka-closest na government sa atin, yung ramdam na ramdam talaga natin, which is yung local government units o LGU. So, ito yung mga local barangay o sa munisipyo natin.
O sige, matignan ko nga yan sa susunod. Minsan kasi kailangan lumabas lang tayo sa bahay, maglakad-lakad around the town, the village, and we can see, no, establishments or groups na pwede nating salihan. So, yun nga, nabanggit ni Chem yung LGU. Malaki
Tama
talaga
ba?
yung yes, yung ginagampanan nilang role sa paniniguro na maayos ang ating kapaligiran. And according to Ma'am Cuevas,
The LGUs are the primary actors in the implementation of policy on segregation at source and segregated collection. The collection of biodegradable and recyclable waste are the primary responsibility of the barangays. In the case of municipal hazardous waste and residual waste, which are commonly comprised of solid, soiled, single-use plastics, collection of such is the responsibility of the city or municipality.
In connection with that, no, Alex, lahat ng provinces at municipalities, they all have their own solid waste management board, yung mga nag-a-assess kung ano bang drainage yung kailangang pagtuunan ng pansin. Kasi medyo masyado nang bumabara yung basura eh, 'di ba? Or kung anong Oo, tama. Or kung ano bang batas ang pwedeng i-implement para hindi na magkaroon ng waste in the first place. Yung mga nakikita natin na pakalat-kalat lang sa labas.
Oo, and isang example na lang yan, Chem, is yung pag-shift natin from plastic straws to paper straws. So, pag natunaw na itong paper straws, hindi na siya babara sa mga drainage. Meron na nga rin tayong edible straws, which are interesting kasi naalala ko, nag-cafe ako once, no? Tapos habang iniinom ko yung straw, napansin ko, parang natutunaw siya sa bibig ko. And then I realized, gawa pala siya sa pasta. So,
Oh!
yes, 'di ba? Talagang nag-evolve na yung ways in which we manage our garbage. But anyway, bukod dito sa na-mention mong board, meron din tayong mga nangangasiwa on the barangay level. And we call this the solid waste management committees.
Alam mo, Alex, ang alam ko kasi na itong dalawa na 'to na nabanggit natin, they work hand in hand to check with problems that need the most attention and how to provide solutions na rin. Kaya nga dagdag ni Ma'am Leza,
This commonly comes in the form of ordinances enacted by the local sanggunian or orders issued by the local chief executive. So to pass an ordinance, a proposal will be drafted, and this involves research and data gathering. And then consultations and stakeholder meetings will be conducted.
Malawakan talaga yung research that comes into knowing the plight of our people. Sa inyo ba, Chem, meron ba kayong mga environmental laws na specific lang dun sa lugar nyo?
hindi ko sure kung kung law talaga siya or ordinance dun sa barangay namin sa Parañaque. Pero kasi ever since nung bata ako, ang alam ko na kapag namamalengke, naging ugali na rin kasi namin na kapag namamalengke ka, ang ginagamit mo na is yung mga bayong bags para hindi ka na kukuha ng mga plastic na lagayan ng mga prutas, mga gulay, ganun. Ikaw ba, Alex? Ikaw?
Ako, well, let me just add, no, na yun talagang bayong bag is yung staple na Filipino bag. Kumbaga, hindi ka Pilipino kung wala kang bayong bag na dala-dala kapag mamamalengke ka. So,
Totoo.
oo, anyway, yung sa amin naman, walang straws and plastics na ginagamit sa establishments every Sunday. So, talagang bibili ka ng eco bag. And I think that's one good way of instilling discipline among our citizens.
Tama, Alex. And now you've mentioned yung what the government is doing is to instill discipline among citizens. Pero ngayon, let's talk about naman yung corporations. How they contribute to the growing plastic problem. And syempre, we shouldn't stop there kasi we should also talk about what they're doing to mitigate the problem. So, for this part of our podcast, syempre, we still have our DENR representative si Ma'am Leza Cuevas. Ayan.
Ayun, we still have Ma'am Cuevas. And the global plastic pollution crisis is mainly due to big corporations' single-use plastic production. Back in 2020, napag-alaman natin na there are three main corporations who are responsible to nearly 50% of the plastic waste dito sa Pilipinas. So, isipin mo yun, Chem, no? Tatlo pa lang sila pero 50% na yung
Grabe!
nako-comprise. Oo. And
Sino-sino ba yan? Nako.
ayan, yun na nga. Sasabihin ko na, buti na tanong mo. So, according to the 2020 Brand Audit Report, itong tatlong corporations na to are Universal Robina Corporation or the URC, Nestle, and Colgate-Palmolive. Combined altogether, they contribute to 38,580 plastic items dito sa bansa.
Grabe! Kung tatlo pa lang yung corporations na yan na 50% na yung naambag sa plastic waste, paano naman na kung lahat ng corporations bibilangin natin yung plastic waste, 'di ba? And siguro yun nga kita natin yung growing plastic problem sa corporations din. And to remedy this problem, ayan, isegue na natin sa next topic. Yun nga, meron
Ano kaya
tayong
to?
Oo, yan na. Meron na tayong recently enacted law, yung sinabi ko kanina, na July last year siya na implement. And ito yung Republic Act number 11898 or yung Extended Producer Responsibility Law or EPR law. Ayan. Ayan na, batas na yung pag-uusapan natin. Pero ayan, Alex, i-chop-chop mo na yan. Ano nga ba yung EPR law?
I-chop-chop na nga natin. So basically, the EPR law requires companies who have more than 100 million pesos in assets to develop an EPR program to recover and recycle their plastic packaging wastes. May goal na naka-indicate how much they have to recover, and for 2023, they have to recover 20% of their respective plastic waste from the previous year. While hindi naman required ang small and medium enterprises, the law also encourages them to submit their own EPR programs. Sinabi rin sa law na those who violate the EPR law or become non-compliant, yung mga hindi sumusunod, must pay a fine of at least 5 million pesos. So ayun, no? It's also important to mention na itong large corporations who are supposed to pass their EPR programs are called obliged enterprises, as they are required to submit the said programs to DENR. 745 pa lang out of 4,600 registered enterprises yung nakakapagpasa ng EPR program nila here in the Philippines. And however, according to DENR, they are still tallying kung ilan nga ba yung total number of obliged enterprises which are covered under the EPR law.
Ayan, add ko lang din, Alex, no, na with our interview with Ma'am Leza, nabanggit niya na yung deadline talaga dapat nung pag-submit ng EPR programs is nung February pa, last February. But ayun nga, she also mentioned na the DENR is still organizing or finalizing the implementing rules and regulations. Kaya what they're doing right now talaga is to encourage more of those companies or enterprises na hindi pa nagre-register.
Konti pa lang, di ba? Wala pa sa kalahati.
Totoo, wala pa ata yun sa 1/4. Ayan.
Oo.
Kaya, ayan. So, baka may nakikinig po dyan na CEO o mga managers po dyan ng enterprises na yan. Nananawagan po kami.
Oo.
Mag-register na po kayo ng
This is your call. Kayo na to.
Oo, ayan. Kaya ngayon, nabanggit natin yung mga enterprises na yan na complied with the law. So, yung enterprises na yan, they're very hands-on to help out DENR in their goal to eliminate single-use plastic. And to quote Ma'am Leza,
Some big companies are helping out the DNR in its information, education, and communication campaign on the EPR law. So, as I mentioned, we are conducting advocacy and IEC campaigns, no, such as orientation, seminars, and workshops. Promote the EPR law on plastic packaging and encourage obliged enterprises to submit their EPR programs.
ayan, and to add to that, may creative tactics rin ang mga enterprises to enact the EPR program. Meron ng mga nag-incorporate ng trash to cashback. Ito yung mga pinagbibigay nila yung basura ng mga tao in exchange of cash. Meron din namang gumagawa ng mechanical recycling for PET bottles na through this, pwedeng magawa ang PET bottles na yan into clothes, carpets, or pwede ulit siya gawing plastic bottles. Ayan. And for footprint identification naman, alam ko Alex, may dinedevelop na rin ngayon na parang data tracking for solid waste.
The possibilities are endless talaga, Chem, no? And balita ko rin, meron ding mga companies na gumagawa ng eco-bricks from trash, which is interesting. We find ways talaga para ma-innovate yung pagre-recycle ng mga trash. So hopefully, we have a lot to see in the progress of the EPR law in the coming years. And now, na napakinggan na natin ang side ng DENR with regards to government initiatives and what their response is for the companies regarding the EPR law, pag-usapan naman natin, ano nga ba yung gaps ng law, ano ba yung kulang, saan ba tayo pwedeng mag-improve?
Tama. Kasi yun nga na-mention natin kanina na this law was enacted last year of July. And actually for our listeners, this law actually only lapsed into law. So meaning hindi siya na-sign or hindi rin siya na-veto ni President Marcos Jr. And yung veto is yung pag-reject kanan. And you would think no na the first thing people would do is to ask that this bill be signed agad. Pero alam mo ba, Alex, what's interesting is that yung mga environmental groups natin actually called for the president to veto the bill and to return it to Congress. Kasi nga, may mga nakita silang gap sa law na to. Kaya we interviewed Miss Colleen Salamat, the Plastic Campaigns Manager of the Ecowaste Coalition, on what the evident gaps there are in the law. And she said,
But what we're seeing here at the general sense, yung EPR natin, it's very prone to greenwashing. And we know na very rampant ngayon ang greenwashing, not just in climate, but in plastics issues. First of all, there's no targets for production of plastic packaging.
Ayan, and that was Miss Colleen. So, bale what she's trying to say, no, Chem, is that the law is focused more on how to recover the plastic packaging that they have produced instead of actually trying to reduce the production, which is, kumbaga, yung main source of the problem, di ba?
oo, tama. Kasi it's like they're trying to nip the problem from the bud, no? And not from the root cause talaga.
Tama.
And she used the word greenwashing. And syempre, for our listeners out there, ayan, we asked her what that meant. Kasi actually, that was the first time I heard that term eh. So, sabi ni Miss Colleen na ang greenwashing ay,
Ito yung parang yung si Company A, for instance, si Coca-Cola, magkagawa sila ng clean-up drives, or si Nestle gagawa ng clean-up drives, ganyan. And then they will say they were able to retrieve around this amount of plastics, or tons and tons of single-use plastics, and then recycle it and turn it to another plastic. But technically, recycling that involves burning and melting plastics, those are actually very harmful to the environment. So it does not do good. It does more harm to the environment. So ito yung mga tinatawag natin na greenwashing, those corporate initiatives that actually does more harm than good. Another example is planting mangroves or planting the wrong species of trees in a particular area. Another form of greenwashing din yun, no, there was no proper consultation among the locals or among the scientists. Pero wala, tanim lang sila ng tanim. So, ang daming environmental, so anything na initiative on environment na hindi rin properly consulted, hindi rin scientifically sound, those are actually greenwashing.
Ayun pala yun. And nabanggit niya kanina, Chem, na yung gaps in this law does more harm than good. And kasama na dito yung types of recovery or recycling na sinasuggest ng EPR law, tulad ng chemical recycling na, in a way, is a false solution. Kasi for Miss Colleen,
This is really alarming because, of course, yung incineration, it will just drive the continuous production of plastics, and it's very, very harmful, not just to the environment, but to our health, as it produces dioxins, which is a persistent organic pollutant, or POPs. And it's actually a very harmful chemical, and it's forever in the environment.
and we could see it now na nga, di ba? Na yun nga na-mention natin kanina na there are microplastics already detected in Metro Manila. And alam mo ba, Alex, now we have what we call the Clean Air Act since 1997. And nung narinig ko na we're actually one of the few countries who has a law on this, sumagi sa isip ko na, oo, it's admirable that we have a law to maintain clean air. Pero naisip ko rin na, do you really have to have this law? Kasi, di ba, shouldn't it be automatic for us as humans to want air that's clean? Kasi, ayun yung ini-inhale natin sa katawan natin, di ba?
tama. And, di ba, kumbaga, bare minimum na siya. Hindi tayo yung dapat nakatira sa isang world na parang nandun tayo sa Dalorax where you actually have
Oo.
to pay for air, di ba?
Oo,
Nasa
grabe.
nasa kan yung air nila tapos binibenta sa mga tao, and it's really saddening na what if maging ganun na sa future, di ba? Na kailangan mo nang bilhin yung clean air. And anyway, yung mga tao ngayon pa lang, for us to prevent that kind of future, that dystopian future, kailangan meron tayong transparency sa ating citizens, and kailangan talagang ma-encourage yung citizen involvement. So ito kasi yung kumbaga gaps na pwede pang ma-encourage sa law natin. Kasi even though we have these programs na ine-enact ng DENR along with other organizations, iba pa rin kapag meron tayong law na nakikita natin. For example, in the EPR, kung ano na bang companies yung nagko-comply, or ano bang pwede kong gawin as a citizen to participate in this. Meron ba akong pwedeng puntahan? Meron ba akong pwedeng gawin sa bahay ko pa lang? And to hear Miss Colleen's insights on this, no, ang sabi niya,
Parang I think yun din yung wala sa EPR eh. Parang how can citizens be involved in terms of monitoring, um, in terms of checking the compliance of the companies, kasi yun nga 'di ba very prone to greenwashing talaga tayo, because the companies would tend to mislead us and would tend to disinform and misinform the people of what's really their tactic.
Alam mo, Alex, tama yung sinabi mo, and tama din si Miss Colleen na while the EPR law is technically directed to the companies, we as citizens can be, or rather hindi can be, we must be involved. Kasi nga, we are all affected by plastic pollution. Kaya nga naman nasabi ni Miss Colleen na what individuals like us can do is
Be informed and to stay informed. You can check out on groups who are genuine on these issues. And number two is yun din, parang check on the groups who are really for the environment, because ang daming mga groups din or NGOs din that are working on plastics but technically working with the companies. So that one are red flags. So be aware of those red flags. Check on those na really genuine for the environment. So there's Greenpeace, there's Break Free from Plastic, there's Ecowaste, there's Gaia or Global Alliance for Incinerator Alternatives, there's Mother Earth Foundation. There's a lot of environmental NGOs working out there and doing their best to keep the citizens informed. I think ang important then is to take part on the policy level, is to join groups or youth groups for those who are um for those young people, kasi yun din we saw the power of youth, of how it changes the policy work kapag may youth na involved, kapag may youth na present in the policy decision making, because we're talking about our future here, right? And these people, and we're the ones who's gonna carry this kind of burden.
very well said. Gaya nga ng sabi ni Miss Colleen, we're the ones who are going to carry this burden. Marami tayong maaapektuhan nito. And not just us, but also the people in our household, our neighbors. So, syempre, di ba, we don't want everyone around us, the people we love, to be affected. Kasi hindi lang yung mga tao na nakikita natin ngayon eh. Even our future generation would be affected by this. Na baka mamaya, yung fur babies natin, they would not thrive in such a warmer temperature dito sa Pilipinas, kasi the more there are plastics are in the environment, mas napapahamak or mas nahihirapan mag-adjust yung ating fur babies. So, 'di ba, for all our fur daddies, fur mommies, fur parents, basically, we don't want that. And for everyone who is listening today, we really have to partake in our environment kasi we only have one planet. Anyway, marami-rami tayo na pag-usapan today, from what the EPR law is, how severe the plastic problem is in the Philippines, how much we could be affected by it, and how we can partake in solving the environmental crisis in our surroundings.
Tama. And with that being said, to all our listeners sa episode na to, we're hoping that you've learned a lot in our podcast today. Again, I am Chem.
And this has been Alex, and together we serve Eco Peace, one podcast at a time, only here on
Peace in a Pod.
Peace out!